to this, the first of my O-gauge updates. First, I'd like to apologise to all my regular subscribers for the lack of action and activity over the past 3 weeks. Things haven't gone according to plan. Bits haven't arrived, various parts that turned out to be the wrong parts. And on top of that, I had a really bad head cold which really knocked me for 6. So there you are. However, I haven't been twiddling my thumbs. As you'll see from this video, I have been up to my neck in muck and bullets, so to speak. What can I say? It's been an interesting experience. Having once owned an O-gauge railway in my back garden in my last home, which sadly I had to dismantle piecemeal when we moved, due to weather conditions. So we've had 50-60 mile an hour winds in this garden, and 4 times so far in the last 8 months we've had the garden flooded out with rain. On one occasion we were 6 inches underwater, so I was somewhat reluctant to go to all the trouble of building an O-gauge replacement in the garden. I might well do so at a later date, but not at this present moment in time. So I've chosen to build this in my upstairs back bedroom. Now that I'm on my own, I have the opportunity to quite literally concentrate on what I want to do. It's been an uphill struggle, but I've enjoyed what I've done so far. What I have created is essentially, if you like, an overgrown double O-gauge layout. It's 12 feet long and approximately 6 feet wide. The building and laying down of the track has been an absolute nightmare due to the high tensile strength of the flexi track, which when you try to bend it promptly wants to go back the other way, which makes life problematic. So you end up having to pin the track down in the appropriate lengths, trim them all to fit, then solder them all together and then mount them accordingly, which, as you might imagine, makes life that much more difficult and takes so much longer to do. However, I have now reached the stage where the inside track is down and has been underlaid using O-gauge underlay foam, which has got to be stuck down. You can't sort of leave it lying around and hope it will conform to the shape of the layout. It's also now powered up, and so I incorporated into this video a short running session which I hope you'll find of interest. Talking of which, for those of you who are not entirely au fait with the difference between double O-gauge and O-gauge locomotives, I've produced this little ditty which I think you might find of interest. Have a look at this. As you can see from this example, there is a significant difference between what we call double O-gauge in this country and O-gauge, which is often regarded by some people as a garden gauge as well. As you can see, there is a very significant difference between the two. The engineering problems that you get with building a double O-gauge or even an HO gauge layout are greatly amplified when you're using O-gauge. The significant size of the track, also its incredible strength compared to the flexibility of O-gauge, can cause you all sorts of problems, but that's another story for another time. As you can see from the locomotives and the various track options that you can see under the locomotives, it's a bit more of a handful, as any O-gauge enthusiast will tell you. I suppose it would be fair comment to say that I'm a bit of a newbie in it again compared to what I once was, but I still have a fair amount of O-gauge stuff left from my last layout, which I intend to give you various running train videos, etc, etc. At the moment we have a shortage of coaches. This is largely due to the fact that at the time when just before I moved, I needed a little bit of extra cash, and so regretfully I sold most of my really good coaches to a friend who was very keen to buy them. So now all I have is essentially rolling stock, such as wagons, coaches and the like. But I have a number of different locomotives which I'm sure you'll find of interest, and I intend to add more as time goes by. At this moment in time, this layout will be running as an analog or DC layout. However, it will be fully wired up so that it can be converted to DCC. I do hope to acquire some DCC locomotives with sound already fitted. That having been said, I could fit sound to several of my locomotives, but to be perfectly honest with you, the couple that I particularly would like to fit sound to, such as this Class 128 Parcels diesel van here, or diesel coach perhaps I should call it, the cost is prohibitive due to the fact that you require an extra large DCC sound decoder, and because you end up with more than one engine, or if you prefer one 5-pole motor at each end of the locomotives, the wiring is twice as complex, and it isn't just a simple case of plug and play. You have to dismantle these things, replace the appropriate parts, and then wire them all up again. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's something that I don't exactly relish, at least not at this time. So I shall probably keep my current locomotives all as analog and add digital ones as I go along. Anyway, enough of me prattling on with the movie. Oh, sorry about that. Just contemplating, that's all, whether I should even attempt to put sound into that or not. Trouble is, it's such an effective model, even in analog. I'm not entirely sure that fitting it with analog is, sorry, fitting it with DCC is really that a necessity. But we'll see how just how it goes. Anyway, I hope you like those little short video clips that I did of my locomotives. Again, I apologise to everybody for the delay. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope this will be the first of many more to come. Once I have the outside track all wired up and with the underlay all fixed up, etc., I shall do a double train video, and we'll sort of go from there. I have a couple of more locomotives that are still sitting in their boxes, probably itching to get out onto the track after 4 years. So there you are. Anyway, I thank you very much for you watching, and I wish you all a very good week. Goodbye.